This is a Heart and Hand production.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the show that tells you the big breaking news you've wanted for months, and that is that Rangers have been taken over. It has been completed. It is now official. Rangers are owned by a new entity. That is the Consortium headed by Andrew Cavenagh and Parag Marathi of the 49ers Group. Investment group. It is now done. It is complete. You can stop worrying. Nothing is going to get in the way of it. Rangers have issued the following press release, which I will just read to you now, and this will, I think, clear everything up. It is Rangers Football Club is pleased to announce that a consortium of investors led by Andrew Cavenagh and 49ers Enterprises has purchased a majority stake in the club. With approval from the Scottish FA, the consortium will chart a new strategic vision for the club's future, prioritising on-pitch performance and long-term financial sustainability. The new leadership has committed to invest $20 million into the club at this time, which will be subject to shareholder approval at the general meeting on 23rd of June 2025. Cavenagh, a business leader and healthcare executive, will serve as board chairman. He will work closely with Parag Marathi, who joins the board as vice chairman and is the president of 49ers Enterprises, a sports investment entity also led by San Francisco 49ers CEO Jed York. Cavenagh and Marathi have spent decades leading highly successful businesses and world-class sports brands as part of the board and will oversee all aspects of the club in this next chapter. I now go immediately to two of our most beloved correspondents. First of all, Martyn Ramsey.
Howdy, David. Are we doing well?
And to Dave Marshall.
Yeehaw.
Very much so, lads. It's done. It is complete. It has been taken over. Not a shock, but I'm sure we all appreciate that we're glad that it is now official. We don't need to worry about it anymore. And Martyn, managers do come and go, but owners have tended to issue in new eras, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but this is an epochal moment in the history of the club.
It is. I'm a bit of a canary down the mine. You can be excited now about this.
Wow.
Listen, we've seen shysters and con men and others of the previous board standing up when they needed to in 2015, emotionally fan-led investors, plugging gaps, getting us to a title. We needed that next step. That needs real professional operators, and I think that's clear that we've got that here. Seeing the bigger picture, not just being absolutely emotionally driven on the pitch, off the pitch. It's not just all the right noises. We have seen what they've done in other lives, right? And in other areas of sport, and it's, for the first time in a long time, just the general feeling and the general direction of the club is really moving in a good way. We may not love everything they do, especially eventually around pricing and various other bits and pieces, but I think it's for everyone's sake that we have adults in the room who have a detachment from the noise that surrounds the club. And I think I'd be exactly the same if I was a wealthy fan investor over the last few years. I'd be moved by that. I'd be driven by that. And it just meant that we were going round in circles. And it's exciting times.
Dave, what's your initial feeling?
Elation. I'm just absolutely delighted that this has got over the line. As Martyn said, we've known about this for some time, but there's always that wee voice in the back of your head saying that, Rangers don't get nice things. We've been pummeled for the best part of 13 years now. And just to get this over the line and to see the club in a place where it's not just about, rebuilding or consolidating or in recovery, we're actually in a position to go and attack. We've got real sport business people in there that know what they're doing, that, as Mark says, have a proven track record of success. And there will be bumps in the road, things that us as fans might not necessarily agree with. But, personally, if we get to a point where we're getting shiny things waved at us consistently, then I will take the rough with the smooth, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to not make mistakes on occasion. Nobody does in business. It doesn't work like that. But I think that, as Martyn spoke about, that detachment and previous knowledge will come in hugely useful. And you're absolutely right, because because of that being pummeled for so often, if you'd asked me even a year ago if something like this was possible, I would have said no. There didn't seem to be the interest in Rangers from people like this. And
if you asked us at New Year, we wouldn't have believed this.
Well, this is it. It's absolutely massive that this has happened. They will immediately invest 20 million capital shareholding into Rangers, which is to be used primarily for on the field, and that, of course, will be on top of what Rangers would have committed without this and any incoming transfer fees which arrive this summer. There are some other important changes as well. First of all, Dave King and John Bennett have completely sold their shareholding. They are no longer shareholders. However, some of the previous shareholders have retained a small interest in the club, although that may change over the future as the current owners consolidate their shareholding. They are taking the club private, and this will be ratified at an EGM on June the 23rd. If you're a shareholder, you will be getting an invitation to that. It's a formality. It will get nodded through. The votes are there, but even so, all of that will happen. Now, there is changes at boardroom level as well, with Cavenagh becoming the chairman, Marat becoming the vice chairman, and there will also be board changes as well, with current chairman Fraser Thornton staying on the board as a non-executive director, and leaving the board will be Graham Park, Julian Woolhart and Alistair Johnson. They are all leaving. John Halstead and George Taylor will remain on the board. So money coming in, Martin, and they are going to clearly spend, but it's not going to be a blank checkbook. That's not their style. That's not how they do it. And that, in a way, to me, is quite reassuring, because it means that, again, we have professionals at the helm who know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's unsustainable. We also know there are regulations around that kind of thing, although I think, given the business we've done in recent years, we probably have the slack that we maybe haven't, in theory, been able to enjoy.
We do have room, yes. We do have room.
So he's talking about the guts of 20 million going straight there, what we would normally spend in a summer, plus sales. You're probably looking at Raskin, let's be honest. I wouldn't expect him to be a Rangers player next year. It's going to touch 40 million, possibly.
I think so.
Certainly 30 to 40, which I think is what we all kind of assumed is needed. Obviously has to be spent well. You know my feelings on this. It's maybe less is more, really. The squad, the team needs a spine of genuine, reliable leaders who spread belief and confidence around. Some other players who I think are maybe better than they've maybe shown because they've been asked to do a job that they're just not suited to. So we shall see. We shall see, obviously, what happens there. But you're absolutely right. It's not a lottery win. People who know what they're doing, they understand value, they understand how sport markets work and recruitment works. And as I said, like, given some of the summers we've endured, last summer did not happen at all. It's as if it rained for 4 months. This is one to be really, really up for.
There's an open letter from the new owners, from Andrew Cavenagh and Parag Marat, and it says, "Dear Rangers supporters, we are proud to be entering a new chapter for this extraordinary club. The moment is a result of months of thoughtful discussions with club leadership and our shared confidence in Rangers' success going forward. To that end, we'd like to tell you a bit about our thinking. Simply put, our goal is to win trophies in Scotland and be able to compete at a high level in Europe while laying a foundation of financial sustainability for the future. As our first step, we are investing fresh capital into Rangers, which will be strategically deployed on and off the pitch. While we recognise the importance of resources, we believe that thoughtful, disciplined investment guided by a clear strategy is the plan to enduring success. Every decision, whether sporting or business, will be made with the club's long-term success and sustainability in mind. We aim to leverage the full strength of 49ers Enterprises' sporting expertise and operational experience, and we are confident in Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell to lead this next phase. Our first priority together is clear: hiring a new men's head coach. That process is already well underway, and we look forward to sharing more updates soon. We will also look to invest in talent for our teams. Moving forward, we are reconstituting the board to bring in a few new voices and skill sets. We owe a special thanks to the previous board for their service. They stepped in at a difficult moment and when the club needed them, and laid the foundation for what comes next. Above all, we know the true success comes from understanding and honouring what makes this club special. In our time getting to know Ibrox, Glasgow and you, we've felt the pride, history and passion that set Rangers apart. You have made it clear what this club means to you, and we will take the responsibility of leading this club seriously. We look forward to seeing you at Ibrox soon. For now, we'll keep working and we can't wait for what's ahead." ahead. Dave, neither can I.
No, it's all very exciting, and that's a lot of what we want to hear there. As Martin says, the last few years have been, well, I felt like a complete waste of time, to be honest. This season felt like it was over before it began. We cannot go through another year or years of this. I'm just really excited, with all the money coming in as well. But the fact that it feels like we've got people in there who know what they're doing, they've got a proven track record of success in sports, not just in other business areas. They've got a track record in sport. I always feel like, this idea of bringing in a head coach rather than a manager. We've tried to almost do like a light version of that over the years with Ross Wilson in there, and the idea, well, Gerard goes, we've got the contingency plan in place. Never really worked out that way, but these guys have a record of showing they know what they're doing. So I'm very excited about the money that's coming first and foremost and what that's going to bring, but the overall structure of the club we should all be really excited about, I feel.
Martin, it's been now stated nakedly, it's a head coach they want, not a manager.
Like normal grown-up football clubs, really, I guess. We've tried this, though, haven't we? And maybe it's been half-arsed or we haven't really committed to the bit.
We've got head coaches at home in the fridge.
Yeah.
Well, we make all the right noises about the structure. Maybe we haven't had the right
and
people
they never
involved.
follow through.
Well,
you can say it's true.
Well, we haven't, but Rangers and our support don't buy that. We have a Walter Smith-shaped image as a Rangers manager who deals with the stuff on the grass, but also deals with clowns like Michael Stewart and whatever, the circus around the club, and deals with it very well. That isn't going to happen, and we've kind of tried that before. And I don't have an issue with that. Getting someone in, you deal, your job is on the grass, and results will determine how long you stay doing that job. Where my one concern, because this is me, I'm allowed to just throw a little dark in there. Cavenagh doesn't love the media, as far as I'm aware. Marathi doesn't speak too often with Leeds, as far as I can tell. Again, if you've got that structure, a head coach, and let's say it's Ancelotti or whomever it is, just deal with the football. Rangers fans, thousands and thousands of Rangers fans, still need the president of Rangers Land to be someone. We need a visible presence who does speak well, who is punchy, who is strong, and is a leader. That then falls on Thelwell and Stewart. Stewart's introduction to that role, mixed reaction, I think it would be kindest. I'd cut a bit of slack that he's been working really in the dying embers of an outgoing regime, which can't be easy. And I'm happy to, wipe that slate clean and kind of start again. But they need to be the guys then. You and I spoke last week, David, about how it is in Germany. Anuli Hoeneß or Rummenigge or Sammer, they deal with the circus around Bayern, the circus around Dortmund, and coaches come and go that just deal with the football. I think that's the ideal, but you still need to get the people right. So that CEO role would be one to watch, I think, in the coming months and years.
Final thoughts then, Dave, on this, what it means to you as a Rangers supporter.
Oh, I think we're going to look back in this day as, one of the most important in Rangers history, and hopefully it's the start of a hugely successful period for the club. Martin's right with a lot of what he says here. This is going to take, it's going to be a massive adjustment for a lot of Rangers fans, but I think the thing that will win us over is success. If they can prove to us that it works, and I think they will win over most, I'm just, I'm delighted. I say I'm on cloud nine right now. The future, for the first time in a long time, looks properly bright. Not a false dawn, not just one wee glimmer of hope. This looks like the start of something that could be really, really special for Rangers.
And I think, Davey, it's every football fan has hope, right? That's why we keep going, and that's why you just never know. Not all of us have belief at times, for good reason, because we're cognizant adults and we can see the evidence in front of us. I think this is the difference today. We've hoped a new manager could do this. We've hoped maybe some alterations in the boardroom could bring about this or that. this is a line that's been crossed from hope to genuine, solid, evidence-based belief that this can be different. Not immediately, although that would be great, but just the general direction of the club over the next 3 to 5 years will be a hell of a different from what we've experienced lately, and that's a great thing to have, belief. I think that's probably fair to say.
Martyn touches on the key thing for me, listeners, which is, I think for a long time it was literally just hope and faith, and now we have, as he puts it, evidence-based belief. We can point to these people and say they know what they're doing. Now, that doesn't mean everything will go swimmingly. That's just not reality. That's just not life. But it does mean that we are in a position to now look forward with a lot more hope. Financial instability has gone, which is enormous. Any business, never mind a football club. But I think the key thing for me moving forward is ambition. Rangers are going to be ambitious again. Rangers stopped striving, and because the previous investors, who had done brilliantly to rescue the club but then didn't have the vision to take it forward, we now have people who want to take it forward. And a bit like, you need a manager to get you to a certain place, then you need someone else to take you further. This is where we are with this. Today, I think, marks that. It marks us moving forward, and hopefully, it's only taken us a quarter of a century, but hopefully we'll begin to see Rangers become a 21st century football club as opposed to one that has lived in the past. We have a wonderful past, but it's about time that we had something to look forward to in the future, and today begins that. So a new era at Ibrox. My thanks to our two guests, and I look forward, gentlemen, to charting this journey with you over the next few years. First of all, to Martyn.
Cheers, Davey. Cheers, Dave.
And to Dave.
I say this a lot, but this was a genuine pleasure, mate. Thank you.
It's nice, folks. Go celebrate, and let's all toast a new and hopefully very successful era for our club. Take care, everyone. Lots more coming up on this, obviously, in the next few days. We'll speak soon.
This is a Heart and Hand production.